What's good, family? Back like I never left. As you can see in the description, I'm gonna be talking about whether you can trade and have a 9 to 5 job. Let's hop right in. Hey, the quick answer to the question is yes. You can trade and have a 9 to 5 job. How you do it is what we're gonna get into in this video. So first things first, you have to determine a set time frame during your day that you could set out for trading. I suggest that it be like 2 hours or so, at least, so that you have time to look at the charts and analyze, but then also have time to, place your trades and let them play out and things like that. So once you have your time frame that you want to trade and you have a couple hours set aside that you can just sit down and trade and not think about anything else, you need to figure out which trading session lines up with that time frame. So we have 3 trading sessions that you could trade in, which is the New York session, the London session, and the Asian session. So those are the 3 sessions that you'll be able to trade. So once you have your time frame locked out, that you feel like you can, sit down, do some trades, then you go and figure out, okay, what time is London session? What time is Asian session? What time is New York session? And once you figure that out, you'll be able to basically pick which session lines up with the time frame that you are in. So if you chose that you could trade, around 6 o'clock, you're probably trading Asian session. If you chose that you could trade, at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., before you go to bed for the night, you're trading London. If you're going to try to trade before you go to work at like 7 a.m., then you're trading New York session. So you just want to figure out when you have time to trade and then which session is going to line up with that time frame. Now, once you have that, let's take Asian session for an example. Let's say you're like, okay, I have time. I got 2 hours that I can trade during Asian session. Now you want to figure out what you're going to trade. Now, the way these pairs work, especially in Forex, because we're talking about Forex, is you want to match up the pair that you're trading with the session. So you could have USD JPY, which is the Japanese yen. That would be a good pair to trade during the Asian session because it's an Asian pair. You wouldn't really want to trade European pairs during the Asian session because the Asian pairs trade better during that session. So now that you know, okay, I'm going to hop in trades during Asian session, I'm going to find me some Asian pairs. So the Asian pairs are going to be pairs, anything that have JPY in it, Japanese yen. So those will be pairs that you would want to trade during the Asian session. Okay, so now you know what time frame you want to trade and you know what pair you want to trade. So now the next step is to just actually sit down and start trading it. It's that simple. And if you really want this, you'll make a way. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'll give you guys a little example of what happened for me. So when I started trading, I fell in love with trading the NASDAQ. And the NASDAQ is actually an index, but it's a US index. And at the time that I started trading, I was working a 9 to 5 job. And so for people who work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., you're most likely not trading the New York session because that's when the New York session is popping. That's when it's most volatile. So you'll probably end up trading London session or Asian session. My thing was, my mentor traded NAS 100 and I just fell in love with it from what they were teaching me. And then it became very hard for me to be able to trade and work. So I would be trying to wake up and trade before I went to work. And it just, you can do it. I'm not saying it's not doable. It's all about you. You know what I'm saying? What type of sacrifices you're willing to make. I am not really the type to sacrifice my sleep at all. You know what I'm saying? I'll sacrifice other things. I'll sacrifice parties. I ain't sacrificing my sleep. No. So for me, getting up earlier and all that, that wasn't an option for me. So what I ended up doing is I got switched to second shift, or I found a different job where I could work second shift, where I didn't start working till like 12, 1, 2 o'clock. So that gave me time to wake up in the morning and trade the New York Open, which is at 9:30, and then I had time to still get ready and go to work. So that's other things that you have to think about. I know I did it backwards because I ended up choosing my pair first. But if you go into this knowing that you work a 9 to 5, don't look at pairs that are trading during a New York session for real, because you're not going to be able to catch the big moves, the volatile moves. You're not going to be able to catch that. And then honestly too, family, whenever you're like becoming an experienced trader and you're good at what you do, you'll be able to hop on any chart and trade anything. And it's not even going to matter. Like anytime, you'll be able to do anything. This is more for beginners. When you're getting your feet wet, you don't want to be overwhelmed with so many different pairs, so many different charts that are doing so many different things. You need to get your foundation first and understand how to even read a chart before you try to do all these different pairs. So basically, family, to sum up the video, yes, you can trade and work a 9 to 5. You need to allot out a certain amount of time per day that you want to trade, and then line up that time frame with whichever session is going on during that time. And then once you figure out which session is going on during what time you're able to trade, you pick a pair that trades well during that session. And then once you pick your pair, you know what I'm saying, you go ahead, do your thing. And like I said, sometimes you're going to have to make sacrifices. It might not just be a cakewalk. If you want to be able to trade full time and eventually quit your job and only trade, you have to make a sacrifice, you know. So what I did, like I already said, is I moved myself to second shift. Nobody wants to work second shift. You know what I'm saying? It basically takes your whole day. I was working 2 to 11. Like, I didn't have time to do any other shit except for wake up and trade and then go to work. You know what I'm saying? But it's paying off. It's paying off, and I'm able to do what I got to do, build up my funds so that eventually I'll be able to leave the job, and then I'll just be trading in the morning and then have, you know, my whole rest of the day, family. So anybody out there who was thinking about trading and they have a job and they're just wondering, like, can I do both? Can I manage both? You can. You can. But just like anything in life that you're going to want, you got to make sacrifices. All right, family. I love y'all. Peace, peace.